I'm starting the recording now, and I'm going. Yes. Welcome everybody to the third day of the Get Well with Homeopathy's webinar series. What makes homeopathy special? On the third day, we have three or four amazing speakers, and the first one we have for you is Waika and Jutta. Jutta, is it? How do you say it?
Utah.
Utah. All right, sorry, Utah. All right. So, without much introduction, I let them start the webinar. Waika, it's your turn.
Okay.
You can take it
Yeah,
on from here.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you also to Genoveva and Uta for inviting us to this webinar. We are really happy to speak here, and some of you maybe know me from last time. I spoke about sensation method, and today we're gonna deeper into it. We want to speak about case taking and sensation method, and especially about children's case taking, how we use tools to come deep to find a pattern in children's case taking. But first, I would like to introduce myself to those who were not there last time. I'm Vika Evelyn Feige, and I'm practicing since more than 23 years in homeopathy here in Berlin and Potsdam. And I'm also teaching homeopathy and especially sensation method, and I give supervision to colleagues and practitioners. And this is my dear colleague, Rita Möhring, and we're working very closely together since some years. And especially we sometimes taking cases together when one of us doesn't find a remedy, and it's very helpful to have such a close kind of relation with someone who's going the same way or using the same method in homeopathy.
So yes, hello to everybody. Also from me, I'm Jutta Möhring. I've been working with homeopathy since 2008 here in Potsdam, and I've been working with parents and their children, babies, toddlers, older children, my whole life, and that's why, of course, my practice is full of children. And yes, I'm very glad to share a little bit together with Rita my experiences. And so our theme for today is what is special in homeopathic case taking, especially in children's case taking with sensation method.
Okay, and first I would like to go a bit into case taking and sensation method in general. And as I explained last time, we are not looking for isolated symptoms. In sensation method, we really try to find a pattern. We really try to find a thread who is going to all the life of the patient, to all symptoms, which connects everything together, what the person is telling us. And on the core, on the depths of this pattern of all these things which are belonging together lies our remedy, and we try to find this connection. And what is important here is we are not so much interested in what happens in the stories. They are also important to tell, but our interest is more how somebody perceives a certain situation. How is it for the person? What does he or she feel in a special situation? Or how is the sensation in the body maybe? So we use a situation in life, or we use the main complaint, what happens in this time, maybe in the life of the patient, we use it as an entrance point to come to a deeper level. And to explain a little bit how we do this is, I would like to use the example from last time because it's quite simple, but it's good to use something simple to explain a complicated thing very clearly. And the example I use was somebody works in our office, for example, and there's a chef, a boss, and the boss is always shouting very much, and it's an angry type, and he's shouting at his employees, and our patient has a lot of reactions, or our patient has a complaint and it maybe has started some months or some weeks after he or she got this job, got new into this job. So what we are interested in is not so much the story about all the boss, but what is the reaction in the patient, what he or she feels in this moment. When the chef comes out, when the boss comes out of his room and shouts at everybody. And as I told last time, there are very different possibilities how somebody could perceive a certain situation like this. For example, somebody could feel, oh, I'm totally deficient. Oh, I made a mistake maybe. It's something I went wrong with. Or he's angry because I lost something, whatever. So he's looking or she's looking at the default is in him or in her. Another person could perceive it totally different, like when the boss is shouting, I get easily contracted. I'm shocked. I freeze. I feel shivering. I feel very tight inside. So it's a very different perception of the same situation. And a third one could feel like, okay, in this moment, I'm not the stronger one, but maybe next time I will show him who's the boss here. So we have different possibilities, but what we do now, and this is more how we go into case taking here, is we ask further. When somebody says, I feel shocked with the screaming of the boss, I ask, oh, tell me more. How does it feel being shocked? How does it feel in your body? How is it? What, maybe from which other situation in your life you know the same feeling? And then it depends on the answer. I go deeper and deeper. So we, in a way, we leave the original situation, what was our entrance point, and we go to another level, which is more inwardly. It's more like, it's called sensation method. So it means bring up a sensation, and the sensation is felt in the body. It's not a feeling, it's not an emotional thing. It's more something which is really could perceive with all our, how to say, it could perceive with our body, but it's not so much in the flesh or in the muscles or in the emotions, it's more something in between. And the patients often tell us this is a total new experience for them, or they discovered something total new they didn't know about themselves before. So we try or we step into an unknown place in general. It's often something a patient or a person never stepped in or never knew about him or herself. And now we go over to children's case taking because this is a bit different, but there are some similarities, and we use the same kind of attitude. So Peter will speak about more about it.
Okay, of course it's different in case taking of children because we cannot speak with children 2.5 hours. We cannot do this. We cannot follow the thread into a deeper and deeper and deeper case. So we have to find and to use other tools in case taking of children. And one of the most important tools is, of course, observation of the child. And yes, we can use this more than in adults' cases because a child who behaves very free will show what it is, what it runs. Maybe from the very first moment when we see the child, it shows up what is the child. Yes. Sometimes even before we see it, we can hear it on the chairs or something. And we have a lot of things to see how the child does appear. There are children which are very shy. They hide behind the parents' back. They even not go walk into the practice. They have to be carried into the practice by the parents. They maybe don't speak one word 2 hours in our praxis. They maybe are sitting on the lap of the parents. They maybe even not look into our eyes for 2 hours or so. And other children maybe are very curious, open, come into the praxis by their own, want to see everything, want to see even the room behind the closed door, want to touch everything, want to see the toys. So we have a lot to see during 2 hours of case taking. Um, and every single thing what we see is speaking the truth of this child and is worth to notice, to be noticed for us. Every single thing is true. That's why we take it.
Other things we could see and observe in children's case taking is how and with what does the child play. So how means plays it alone or wants always the parents at his or her side? Is it concentrated or is it very unfocused, makes this and that, and or plays it with animal figures or blocks or dolls, or is it chaotic? Or some children they really arrange everything in a line from the biggest to the smallest, whatever. So all this is speaking to us. All these things are telling us something about the child, and we have to connect these dots together in the end. But in the first beginning or during the analysis, before we connect these dots, we only observe. We are very free. We have very big eyes, very big ears, and very big senses to perceive everything that the child is showing us. And other observations we could make is how does it move? How is it developed in terms of is it walking already very early or very late, or how is it with speaking with language? How good is it in a certain age? Are there gestures that it often uses? Is there something which we can maybe see in gestures? There's a special energy is expressed. How does it speak? Is it clear, unclear? Is it stuttering or uses things repetitive? All these things are very important and we will take them deeper. We will speak later about this, how we do this. And also what is interesting is how is the interaction with the parents and how is it with me, the practitioner. And this is an interesting point because sometimes children are showing up in a more extreme way in our clinic. So for the parents, it's sometimes embarrassing and they try to assure that it's not normal. Normally, the child is totally different. It's not behaving like this. But we encourage the parents to let it be, to let express everything what's there, because we know it's very, very important. So what we do is we take everything what the child shows and expresses as an important truth. We don't want to suppress it or going against it because we know it's something that tells us or it leads us to the remedy, what shows the distorted life force. And this is important. So sometimes it's really good that things come more extreme than it they normally show in the everyday life. And what we touch here is an important point. It has to do with trust. And trust means everything what happens in an anamnesis, and this is for children the same as for adults, is worth to taken serious. It's worth to be noticed, written down, observed, and so because everything is an expression, as I said, of the distorted life force and the end of the realm. And how we do this now to take all the serious and how we come deeper.
Yes, I think we have to be like a big invitation to the child or to the patient. Yes, we have to invite the patient to show itself up. And one possibility to invite a person to show up is to mirror it. And mirroring means never rejecting, never interpretate something, but only to mirror that what the patient, in our case the child, does. And maybe an example is when the child says, I get never sausages in my family. My brother get all the sausages we have, and I get no. And I of course know this is not the truth because I know parents don't do that. Yes, and then maybe I see the parent gets red in the face, and I say, give us the moment, and I mirror this. You get no sausages, and your brother get all. And this is sometimes very new for the children, that somebody takes its truth as truth. And this is a big invitation to say more. Maybe I can ask them, how is it for you when you don't get the sausage and your brother gets all? How is it? How do you feel? What do you think? What do you want to do? And this is what I mean with invitation. Yes? And um, what is good in this is that it leads us deeper. So when we do this mirroring, when we say, to use this example with the sausages, maybe the child says, oh, then I run into my room and then I want to destroy every toy of my brother. This is different than it says, oh, when this happens, I run to my parents, I want to hide, I don't want to speak with somebody, I want to disappear. So we have intentions here through this mirroring to see a deeper thing, a deeper state in this child. So we can ask, oh, how is it you want to hide, you want to disappear? Can you tell me a little bit more? So we can also use the technique I spoke about with the adult patient. We can use in children, but we need more to mirror and to repeat what they say. It's sometimes really good only to repeat the sentence that the child says because it feels understood in this moment. It feels understood, and this understanding opens up a new door. It opens up something, a deeper level. And there's an interesting point to mention here is we are not only homeopaths in giving a remedy. We are not only homeopathic, we don't only do a homeopathic treatment with our remedies. We already do it in our case taking because we go in a homeopathic way with the patient. We never go against the patient. We never say, oh, this is not true, or I know your boss, he's never like this, you describe it, or I know your parents, of course, they give you the same amount of sausages like your brother. We never do this. We take what the patient, what the child is bringing up as something true, even if we know the objective situation is different. If somebody says, the sky is green, I know objectively the sky is most of the time is not green, it's blue or gray or whatever, but I'm curious. When somebody says the sky is green, I say, tell me more about it. I'm curious. How does it feel for you when the sky is green? So I put all the objectivity aside and I take this truth of the patient very seriously because it's his expression how he perceives the world, how he perceives it's the expression of parents. And it can be very extreme, especially in children's cases. For instance, a child can say, I want to be a dragon and I want to kill every person in the world and I want to drink the blood of everybody. So we have to be open to even that truth. And sometimes for the parents it's not easy to hear such expressions, yes? Or they say, I want to die, or I'm not at all love something else. And so a part of our work is also to encourage the parents to go with the truth. Yes? And there are, of course, our children which are not speaking with us. Maybe they are babies, maybe they are too shy. Should I let that? Yeah, you want to add something?
Yeah, we forgot
Okay.
something. We forgot something.
We forgot.
Okay.
Yes, I see it on the.
Yeah, I would like to bring something more. We call it child-centered analysis, and what we spoke about this mirroring and going deeper. We can use everything. What comes up in the analysis, what comes up as a theme, we can use in the same way. For example, stories, movies, yeah, like this, which the child likes. We we want to hear what kind of movie, what kind of story, what kind of book is it, what's the story about, but then we are interested, how is it for the child? For example, a child tells us, yes, there is a hero and he goes into this dark cave and there's a dragon waiting. And so then we ask how this hero feels in this moment, or how would you feel in this moment, or in this situation? Or if it's difficult, we can say how another child would feel. So we use everything in the same way to come deeper. And also fears or bad dreams or bad feelings, as Jutta said, not wanting to, not feeling not to be loved, or being afraid of something, we can use in this way. We can ask, for example, what exactly are the monsters do, or what are the robbers do when they are afraid of, or what the wild animals are doing to you, or what you are afraid that they could do, and how you feel in this moment and what you want to do in this moment. So we can use everything in the life of the child for a deeper exploration. And also playing pretend or to be somebody else, or so we can let us explain exactly what he or she is playing or doing, or what role he or she plays. For example, somebody says, I would like to be superhero. Then we can say, then we can ask, tell me, what is superhero doing? What would you do when you be superhero? And we can go further and further. So this is an analysis which is centered around the child, in the interests and feelings and stories, movies, all that of the child. And we have another kind of tool, it's drawings. Not every child is drawing in our praxis. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So we don't force them. And sometimes they don't, but the parents bring some drawings. So we can see when we have them, is there a pattern which runs through? Like there's a motive or a kind of how they, how they draw, with maybe which color they use. So is there something we can see? And it's good to let the child explain what they draw in details, because sometimes we think something totally different, and then the explanation is very interesting for us, and it's really showing up something. It's showing something of the child. So the drawings become also a starting point for further questions and further exploration. So you can see everything, what comes up, it's playing, it's drawings, whatever we use as an entrance point to understand the child.
We take what we get.
Yeah.
We take everything we get. Yes. But of course, we have sometimes children which are not speaking, which are too small to speak, which are babies, for instance, or disabled children, which are not paying, which are not saying one word. maybe they are mute the whole time, which are not behave, which are not playing around, which are not taking some tools of us. So yes, we take what we get. So we have more opportunities. For instance, we can ask the mother about the pregnancy, because very often the energy of the child shows even up or already up in the pregnancy. Not in every case, but in many. So we can ask the mother what she experienced in the pregnancy or in a part of pregnancy. What maybe she felt, how she felt different than in normal times. What she felt different than in other pregnancies. What she was feeling or noticing about the baby. And the same is what she experienced during the birth. And in many cases, we found out the remedy only about speaking about only in speaking about the pregnancy. For instance, I had an autistic child, and the mother told that the last 6 weeks of the pregnancy, she got a very tough cough, and she lived like in a bubble. She couldn't speak one word with her husband or anybody else. She couldn't ask for help. She was totally alone in a bubble. She never experienced that before. And also during the birth, she couldn't see any person. She was in the bubble, totally alone, and couldn't ask or speak. So the baby was out of the lab, and she was normal again. Yes, this child, for instance, needed a remedy, autistic remedy. Yes, a remedy for autistic children. So this is another tool we have. And beside the pregnancy, we can also ask the parents about their children. And this has also to do with what I said before with trust. I trust that parents know their children very well. It's not always like that, I have to mention, but often. And I go into an analysis or in a case taking with this trust that a parent can go into this child, into the sensation of the child, and we can ask in a way the same question as we do it in an adult analysis. And I want to show it a bit. So I can ask, for example, describe your child. This is more superficial now, but we go deeper. What is typical for him or for her? How is she or he different from other children? What is the unique, the special things? Or when people have more children, what is special beside all the siblings? What is special for this child you are here with? But also, when a child shows a certain behavior, I can ask, how do you perceive your child when she or he does or reacts in this or that way in a certain situation? What do you think, or what do you feel, what's going on in her or in him? And I lead the parents into the feelings of the child and into the sensations. And sometimes it's very wonderful to see and touching how clear and how precise they can describe what's going on in their children, even if the children only can expressing non-verbally. And the third possibility is, how do you feel, or what kind of image comes in your mind when your child behaves in this certain way? So you can use all the techniques that we have for the adult person, we can use here. And sometimes also one of the parents is similar to the child, so it's maybe easy for them because they say, oh, I know this from my childhood too. Then it's very easy, because then I can ask, oh, how was it in your childhood? And then I get more precise information. And sometimes, or quite often, one parent and one child need the same remedy. It's not always like that, but I observe it very often. So we encourage the parents to step into the shoes of the child. And this is sometimes very touching for the parents themselves. They never did it before. So we are now on the end. So we want to say thank you again. And we thought maybe there are a lot of questions or questions left in the audience. So we put our email addresses here so you can write to us if you want. If you have any questions, we could also Skype and explain things more. If you like, you can contact us. And what we maybe add in the end is there are so many ways of case taking. It's always individual. Every situation is different with a child, with an adult person. But what we need, and this is similar or the same in every case taking, is we need really a state and an attitude of openness, of trust, and of, in a way, relaxation and lightheartedness. Lightheartedness. It's not so difficult, but we yeah, it's not so difficult when we have this trust and when we know everything will come to a good solution in a way. Even if you don't find a remedy in the first case taking, we maybe find in the second or in the third one, or we find a similar, not a minimum. So we need this openness. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vika and Yuta. That was a wonderful explanation on how we take a case for a child along with the parent. And we hope to have you more with us with more webinars. And
Yeah,
I hope you enjoyed sharing this information as
yeah,
well.
we did
Yes? All
very,
right
very
then.
much. Thank you to Genoveva and Uta again. Bye bye. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye then. Now we're going to wait for Dr. Obaid Hashmi from Afghanistan to join us. Yeah, we're just getting Dr. Obaid to come in. He's just logging in. He should be with us in a few minutes. In the meanwhile, I hope you're all enjoying this afternoon's webinar. We have a great lineup of speakers for you. Looks like he's still trying to log on. In the meanwhile, we'll just wait. Yes. We have his PowerPoint up, and we're just going to wait for Dr. Obaid to come in and start. Dr. Obaid is the representative for the Liga LMHI in Afghanistan, and he's, I think, one of the main doctors in Afghanistan who's actually pushing for Afghanistan to recognize homeopathy. I had the honor of meeting him when he came to Chennai for a conference a few months ago. I think he's having a bad internet connection, so we just wait. And I'd like to tell you that Genoveva and Uta are doing a wonderful job here with Get Well with Homeopathy. They've got a whole lineup of speakers from all over the world who are going to share their experiences on homeopathy. And I think it'll be a great experience for anybody who comes to participate, to view these seminars. There's something to take back. Come. Maybe we could get Dr. Chanda came before Dr. Obaid. Let me check whether we can get Dr. Kavita Chanda to come in. Yeah, I've just sent a message to Dr. Obaid. I think he should be with us in a few minutes. Well, this is a new platform that we're using. And, I'm sorry to keep you all waiting as Dr. Obaid is taking a little longer than expected to log in. I'm just taking Dr. Obaid step by step for him to join us, so please bear with us. Okay, let me. We should be here in a few minutes. Oh, he just came in and I think he's got a bad connection. Well, let's wait. Oh, just to give you a background on Dr. Obaid, he's the acting medical director and the homeopathic consultant at the Afghan Mercy Hospital. He's the national contact person at the Liga Medicorum Homeopathica Internationalis, that's the LMHI, and he studied from the Frontier Homeopathic Medical College in Afghanistan. Oh, that's nice. And for those who have already met him, he's a very young, dynamic homeopath, intent on seeing to it that Afghanistan recognizes homeopathy. We need more people like Dr. Obaid. Not yet. We seem to be losing Dr. Obaid every now and then. He comes on and he's off. Well, I think Dr. Obaid is still having a little bit of tech issue. I'm going to help him as we get our next speaker in, who's Dr. Chandak. Dr. Kavita Chandak has been doing enormous work with homeopathy, a lot of social reform, social work. She's been helping spread homeopathy in the hamlets of Nagpur and around. She's done a PhD on social work in homeopathy. So we'll get Dr. Kavita to join us now while I and take care of Dr. Ved and help him log on to the system. Dr. Kavita will be with us in a few minutes. She's just logging on, and while she's taking her webinar, I'll help Dr. Obaid sort out his tech issues. So, yeah, I'm just getting things ready for Dr. Kavita to come in, and she'll be here in about 2 minutes. Sorry to keep you all waiting. Sometimes these tech issues can really get out of hand. Dr. Kavita's in, just getting her sorted out. Yeah, Dr. Kavita is joining us now. She's logged in. Yes, there she is.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Kavita. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Kavita, how are you? Yes, you are.
Kartika, I'm online. ऋषभ आजा आजा जल्दी से अगर तूने तो वॉल्यूम काय पे सेट करके दिया था मुझे कार्तिक ने लोड कर दिया मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन एक बार चेक कर लो
Yeah.
Okay, Karthik, can I start? Oh, that's great. I forgot it. I'm sorry. Okay. Can I start, Karthik? Hello, friends. Good evening. This is Dr. Kavita, and I'm really very happy to be here. Uh, okay, let's start about what makes homeopathy special in the case of case taking and therapeutic relationship.
So today I'm going to explain about this thing. And I thought that I should talk about the individualization in case taking, because see, till now my colleagues already have explained so many cases. So I thought I should explain the difference between case taking, because homeopathy is a specific pathy and we work for the personal for the person, individual person. So it is not generalized. So today I will explain the difference about the case taking in psychiatric disorder as well the gynec case taking. So let us see. This is about my me. It is just a short info, and this is my contribution to the society, which I have done till since 20 years. Now, what is homeopathy? It is a wonderful science based on the natural law of similia, where we treat the others as we would wish to be treated. It is a science of an individual. See, it's very simple. If you want to earn respect, first of all, you should learn to pay respect. If you want to treat the patient, you must empathize the agonies of the patient. You must keep yourself on the place of the patient. And that's why only we say that homeopathy is a science of an individual. Because we do not treat the patient, we treat we do not treat the symptoms, we treat the patient who is carrying those symptoms. Individualization is a process in which we individualize the same person or object from the group of similar persons. All human beings are anatomically and physiologically alike. In spite of that similarity in one in our structure and functions, we all have our individuality. See, our dreams, our aversions, desires, our way of expression, our expression of feelings, and then our emotions, and how we react to the external environment is different. Even twins are not alike by mind. Though they look same, but their mind is different. And this mind, this superhuman mind, which human being is blessed with the supernatural mind by God, and this mind only individualizes us from each other. Now, what is case taking? In homeopathy, we say that case taking, we are taking this case, we do these cases. So, what is case taking exactly? Case taking is the process of collecting all the facts about the patient using various tools like observation, then perception, history taking, given by the patient himself and the family or attendant. Clinical examination is also a part of case taking. In order to find out the correct remedy, we have to collect the whole data from the patient. So it is important process of homeopathy. It is the first step of homeopathy from where we start other things. According to Dr. Kent, there are different grades in homeopathy in journey of cure. The first grade is taking a good case. The second grade is to analyze a case very well. The third grade would be application of good knowledge of materia medica to find the simillimum. And the fourth and important is would be successful in follow-ups. See, the scenario doesn't end here that you have given the remedy and patient went back. No, patient has to come to you for frequent visiting and consultation so that you can keep the good record and you can observe the changes in the patient which you actually started him by your medicine. Hahnemann mentioned in aphorism 5 that physician must have the complete knowledge of the disease process from beginning to end. It helps in individualizing person's symptom from the disease symptom. Individualization is not limited till patients or diseases, but it is there even in way of case taking. So, for different diseases, we need to ask different questions to the patient. There is not a fixed pro forma of case taking that you should ask this and this. No, it varies according to the system, which system is involved in the disease. Homeopathy is the only pathy which interrogates patient thoroughly according to the disease from which he is suffering. Nowadays, I observe one thing that many doctors from other pathies, I can say, they have fixed prescription, and the prescription contains 7 8 different type of remedies. For example, for patient A, upper five remedies are being chosen. For patient B, the lower five are good. For the patient C, the middle four five remedies are being recommended. And in few cases, all 16, 17 remedies are recommended. So, suppose if a patient is visiting you and showing you this type of prescription, you can see here. Here we can see 10 remedies altogether. Okay, and after this 10 remedy on this other part of the prescription, there are total 17 remedies. And this patient is quite lucky, fortunate we can say, that her doctor has prescribed her only 16 remedies per day, not the 17 one. At least he spared the one remedy. But see, is it authenticity? It is the biggest example of prejudiced mind. You are fixing one shoe, Cinderella shoe, in every girl's feet. It is not possible. This never happens in homeopathy. Homeopathy, homeopath prepare a proper shoe for individual girl. See, we cannot put a same ring in all fingers in our own hand. So how can we give the decided remedies? How can we choose between the decided remedies to prescribe the patient? No. Remedy gets finalized only after proper study of patient, only after proper individualization of the patient from the other group of the same disease. Then only you can finalize the remedy. This is not the way of selection of remedy. A homeopath being an unprejudiced observer, as mentioned in aphorism 6 by our father Dr. Hahnemann, do not prescribe, homeopath do not prescribe what he feels correct, but he gives the patient what the patient needs. And this is the beauty of homeopathy. Our minds are unprejudiced. We never think by seeing the patient that this patient is walking inside. Like when I was studying in university, we used to talk like this. Oh, this lady, she always keeps on weeping. She is pulsatilla. Or somebody is sitting in the attitude, this lady is platina. No, it is not like that. Good case taking is 50% work done. If you have taken a good case, even if you are not a good homeopath, you got all the chances to cure the patient. And hence, it is necessary to learn the art of case taking. See, homeopathy is a science as well as art. The art Okay, can I talk, Karthik? Okay, okay. Now we will discuss about the case taking. Uh, it is divided in psychiatric case taking. We divide in two different parts. One is case taking for subjective symptom, and the other one is case taking for objective symptom. Case taking for subjective symptom. Few things a homeopath follows. He avoids leading questions. He maintains objectivity at all times. He keeps good records. He inquires about energy, sleep, appetite, thirst, desire, aversion, menses, etc. Even, we inquire about even such a minute thing that which type of clothes our patient can tolerate. For example, if you have intolerance to the woolen clothing, we have different remedies. If you have intolerance to the woolen, working with undressed woolen only, then we have different remedy. That is, there is only one specific remedy, that is anthracina. And if you have amelioration by woolen clothing, then we have the remedy spigelia. So homeopathy is quite different, and we have lot of filters. We talk in depth with our patient. It is why we ask such type of small questions, because it made a bridge of trust between the patient and the doctor. And as no one else has inquired about his small but important things, then he's ready to give us some mental symptom. Until and unless patient do not feel comfortable with you, he's not going to open his secrets with you. So it is necessary to make a bond, to make a bridge with the patient. We interrogate first chief complaint along with its modalities and concomitant symptoms. See, suppose any patient is consulting you with headache. So it's not easy in homeopathy to give the medicine for headache. No, we ask everything related to headache. When it gets aggravate, for suppose there is headache and there is aggravation in afternoon. The character of pain is bursting pain, and patient feels better after sleep. And is there any symptom which is always associated with headache? It is known as concomitant symptom. And suppose if there is nausea accompanied with head pain, then we take the totality according to modality, and then we select the remedy. And here we can see how many remedies we have in our literature. It's not simple as other pathies deal. This is the beauty of homeopathy, that we do not give just a painkiller to the patient. See, your headache can be congestive, it can be tension headache, it can be migraine or bilious headache. How a painkiller can control all types of headache? It's not possible. How a same remedy can treat different patient? Treatment can never be generalized. It should be personalized. In homeopathy, we choose the appropriate remedy by paying attention to every small details. See, this is homeopathy. When we consider the chief complaint, we go and ask the patient about amelioration, about the aggravation of complaint, about the character of pain, and about the concomitant. Though there are five people playing one guitar, the symptom is like that only. And this concept is given by Dr. Boning Hussain. It is known as the complete symptom. For the mental symptoms, we make patient to live. We just pay attention to what the patient mentioned. The thing which is near to your heart will be the first to come on the tongue. Later on, homeopath let the companions to add something to get confirmation and contradiction about patient's behavior. Then checking the sensitivity level. Some patients may tell you, doctor, if I watch any horror movie, or if I hear about any accident, or if I see any accident, I cannot sleep for 2 days. This is the level of sensitivity. And for that, fortunately, we have a symptom in our homeopathic literature, that is horrible things and bad news affected by. And we have the remedy iodine, phosphorus, calcarea, spongia, and cicuta. I know my audience are not only homeopaths, but my audience are non-homeopath or non-medicus people also. And that's why I'm explaining in detail about homeopathy and about case taking. Checking anxiety, fears, and phobia is the next step. Fears has great impact on our life. It decides your success and failure rate. A homeopath even asks about stage fear, exam fear, and fear of opposite sex, because we have specific remedies for that. You can see here anticipation, stage fright. We have 45 remedies. We can even change the patient in a motivational speaker from a lack of confidence patient. Then we have few remedies for fear of failure in examination. And if there is a fear of opposite sex, suppose a girl has a fear of boy or a boy has a fear of girl, then we have 5 remedies for that. Checking out guilt conscious, violence, destructive behavior, resentment, hatred feeling, jealousy, and affection, etc. There is one remedy in homeopathy. Its name is anacardium. is a violent remedy to animals. They kicks the dog, pulls the hair, pulls the tail and legs, put some boiling water on animals. There is a joy in creating. See how much homeopathy pampers you. We even pay attention to these small details also because our remedy changes here. Then interrogation about affection is the next step. Few people are affectionate but cannot express their affection. For example, we have the remedies sepia and aurum mate. They are very loving people, but they cannot express their love. Then comes interrogation about emotional trauma and honor wounding. It is mandatory because honor wounding leaves lot of imprint in your vital energy. It is said that if the patient didn't cry or laugh in your interview, you did not take a good interview. As a rule, it makes a sense. And for that, suppose if patient is consulting you for depression or negative or pessimistic feeling, and if you give the remedy only for depression, he will be you are palliating the case, you are not curing the case here because the cause behind depression can be his wounded honor. So always find out the original reason behind this, and you can select the remedy by this rubric elements from wounded honor. We have 23 remedies for this. Then eyes don't lie. It's my experience of 20 years practice that I always enter into patient's eyes. See, this is the normal eye. When eye is at normal position is the upper image, and when eye is at 12 o'clock is the lower image. Every body is divided into two parts. The right side is the father's side and the left one is the mother's side. If it is in the left eye, then at the 12 o'clock position, it is a revengeful feeling or rage inside, an angry feeling against somebody. Example, it could be a maid whom the landlady is criticizing and fault finding. So she comes every day already trembling and says all day she is constipated because she is always under fear. So this is interesting. Elements from fright and silent or suppressed anger. In this case, what can be the remedy? Of course, it is taphysagria. If you see the pupil always contracting and dilating, when you put the light sideways, unfortunately here animations are not running in this presentation. Maybe some technical issue is there. Otherwise, I could have show you the contracting and dilating pupils. Such patients have alternating troubles. They may suffer from constipation and alternating with diarrhea. And their characteristic moods are always either up or down. It can show you also the present miasm in the patient. This is the symptom of psoric miasm. Then flat pupils usually indicates dull, emotionless patient with lacked interest and vitality. Even suicidal tendency can be judged by extra flattening of pupil, and you may save the life of the patient with your homeopathic remedies. Next checkpoint is sexual desire. A great number of people will perform but cannot enjoy. And on the contrary, Thuja, Medurinum, Staphysagria, or Hyoscyamus will thrive on the pornography. Always remember that ineffectual or unsatisfied desire is a burning fire which may create psychiatric disorders. Do you know hysteria may occur being rejected at commencement of coition or from suppression of sexual excitement, even from sexual excess, from lascivious thoughts, and even pollution after. Sometimes satisfactory caution itself ameliorates hysteria. We have this rubric in our literature, mind hysteria amelioration by caution. And there is only one remedy, that is conium mac. Then consider the family history. Checking mental illnesses in the family. For example, depression, schizophrenia runs in the family, mother to daughter. There can be a higher rate of suicidal tendency in a family. So I discussed the point about subjective case taking. Now we will discuss about objective case taking. See, in psychiatric cases, always objective case taking is much more important than subjective case taking. And why? And keen observation is the key to case taking. You can observe every small point in the patient. For example, frowning. Frowning related to confusion or anxiety, as we see in the image 1, it is the frowning of lycopodium. If there is frowning of firmness, then it is always frowning of Naxomica. If frowning related to total confusion with delayed response, then it is the frowning of Helleborus. Because for Helleborus, to think is a laborious job. Then way of answering. The way of answer is very important. Zinkum and sulfur repeat the question before answering. Reflect a long time before answering. Again Helleborus. And few people cries when they talk about their symptom. And these people are sepia, pulsatilla, medorinum, calicar, and cilicia. And it is the sure shot symptom of cilicia. Then sarcasm. No patient is coming and no patient is going to tell you, Doctor, I am sarcastic. No, you have to observe it during your case taking. An experienced homeopath perceives it whether the patient is making sarcastic remarks about people. And you won't believe that we have 41 remedies for this habit also. We can change this habit and make the patient as a cool person. Now, laughing is also important. Anacardium has a mean laugh. Lycopodium has fake smile. It's not a real and natural smile. And crocus laughs at any stimulation. It is just an explosive laughter. Crocus sativa's laughter is also known as the hysterical laughter. Weeping is also a very important part of human being. The different ways people weep, and we can select our remedies even from the observation how they weep. Nitramur just gets into himself. Ignitia usually is like a plum and spasmodic, and pulsatilla is very gentle. Here I am going to show you two small video clips to show the weeping of different remedies. Karthik, can we play the video 1? Hello, Karthik? Karthik, we have to play the video 1. Sorry friends, just wait. We will just play the video. It is a small technical issue. Do I need to shift on the video button?
Yes, doctor, did you see that?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Uh, so this is the weeping of nitramure, and now I am going to show you the weeping of ignitia. Karthik, can we play the second video, please?
Yeah, 1 minute.
नहीं मैं नहीं सुन सकती उसने मेरी आत्मा को छुआ मॉम उसकी आंखें मेरे रगों में बेतहाशा दौड़ रही है और हर वक्त मुझे देखती है मुझे दो हिस्सों में मत बांटो माँ, मैं उसके बिना नहीं जी पाऊंगी। मैं सिर्फ उसकी हो सकती हूँ। नंदिनी, मैं उससे बेहद प्यार करती हूँ माँ, मैं उससे बहुत प्यार करती हूँ। नंदिनी, मेरी मदद करो माँ, होश में आओ नंदिनी, पापा को मनाना होगा। संभालो अपने आप को, मेरी बात सुनो।
Thank you, Karthik. Can we go back to slides? Thank you. So, my dear friends, in the first video, we saw that the girl has cut her vein, but still she didn't weeping loudly. And in the second video, we saw her pumpy and spasmodic weeping. So, first video was about nitramere weeping, and the second video was about ignatia weeping. Now, if there is case taking in child or infant, Karthik, I am getting some voices from your side.
Okay,
Case
I'm just
taking
going to
in
connect
child,
that.
yeah, please. Thank you. Case taking in child or infant. If we have a child or an infant that has a psychological problem, often it is from the birth. And then we take the case of the mother during pregnancy. Because, if mother has any type of emotional suppression during pregnancy, then the child may suffer from ADHD or autism in future. So, uh, not at all the time, but often requires the same remedy. The child will require the same remedy as the mother needed while she was sick during pregnancy, even if it is 2 years later. That is not uncommon. So, this is all about psychiatric case taking and why we consider these small points during case taking, because homeopathy says the attention to the smallest symptom can solve the biggest problem of psychology. Now, I will discuss the art of case taking in gynecology and obstetric cases, and you will observe how different it is. Women is the half of the population of the planet. Before explaining anything about the case taking in gynec disorders, I would like to introduce you about miasm, because those who are homeopath attending this session, they know about miasm. But those who are non-homeopath, let me explain the miasm for them. Miasm are the real fundamental causes behind every disease. This is a force within a person creating a predisposition for the particular illnesses in your body. Like in Ayurveda, we have three different types of personalities, that is Vat, Pitta, and Kapha. Like in homeopathy, we have three: Sora, syphilis, and psychosis. So let me explain you about these personalities in short. Soric people, highs and lows, struggling with outside world, lack of confidence, fear, anxiety about future, but always having hope and mentally alert people. Psychotics are secretive people, hide his weakness, tense, constantly covering up situation, fixed habit, suspicious, jealous, and forgetful personalities. And syphilis are strong, pessimistic view on life, cannot modify what is wrong, gives up, destroy, no point in trying to adjust, sudden impulsive violence, distorted, rigid ideas. Because now I am going to explain everything about gynecological case taking in these three personalities. Gynec case taking. The first point is, ask the patient about menarche. Was it early or delayed? Syphilis getting hold overall on our life nowadays, and we see girls of age of 10 years are menstruating now. This could tell us about the precocity in patient 2. This is definitely syphilitic tendency. It can be delayed, always in psychotic, not getting till the age of 16 or 17 years. And normal soric personalities get this at the normal age of 12 or 13. Then ask about menstrual cycle, whether it is regular or irregular, whether it is exactly at 28 to 30 days or 35 days cycle, or it comes only in 20 days. Every detail of our menses is going to lead us to the lurking miasm, to the predisposition of the tendency for major illnesses in the background. Soric female will have normal regular cycle. Psychotic female will have too much delay even by months or weeks. And about syphilitic patient, you never know it when it will come. It never comes on time. It can delay too longer. There can be amenorrhea for 6 weeks or it can be too early. It can appear at every 10 to 15 days. Then you should ask the patient about duration of menses. Then quantity of menses, whether it is heavy or scanty. Because soric people always have normal menses and they have the same flow during day and night time. Psychotic lady will have more flow during daytime and psychotic female will have more flow during night time. Character of blood. What is the character of blood? Is it thick or thin, clotted, watery, dark or bright red? Normally, a female should get bright red blood. This is the tendency of normal sora. And if the lady has this color of the menses, then we can consider few remedies of hemorrhagic diathesis like phosphorus, ferrum ipecac, sabina, and belladonna, etc. When a female gives us a history of dark, black, clotted, stringy blood, it shows the psychotic tendency. Clotting due to excessive fibrin and black color due to excessive pigments. Thick blood is due to excess gluten. Stains the cloths which are difficult to remove. It may have mild odor. This is syphilitic menses. And in such condition, we can consider the remedies from Ophidia group like Lachesis, Crotalus horridicus. Then we have other remedies like Crocus sativa, Platina, Hamamelis, etc. Syphilitic female will have excessive bleeding. Bleeding is profuse, copious, gushing, and black tar-like stringy. We can see here, this is the Turkish black rose, and the syphilitic menses can be of this color also. It will have extremely bad odor. Sometimes the odor is like cadaverous. The menses can be acrid, which corrodes the cloth. Such indication also lead us to the remedies like creosote, carbobase, sickle lilium tea. You can see the menses here, clotted, dark, stringy, with black tar color. Then we interrogate about pains. Soric female generally do not experience any pains or may get mild dysmenorrhea. In psychosis, there can be dull aching pain, but these female get aggravation before menses and they feel better by warm application and as soon as there is discharge. Syphilitic pains would be excruciating, tormenting, unbearable, with anger and anguish. She may roll down with pain, has to hit. Extreme dysmenorrhea associated with severe vomiting or severe headache. Then characteristic complaints. The complaints which are associated with menses either before or during menses or after menses. Normally, a soric female may not have any complaints before, during, or after menses. Whereas some female complaints, doctor, I know when my menses are due. I start realizing it 7 days before menses. My breast get engorged. I can't even touch my breast. They are so painful on touch. My legs pain, body swells. My whole family comes to know that my menses are due now because I keep on shouting at everyone without any specific reason. I get into the fit of anger, depression. I start crying without any reason. But as soon as my menses appear, I am a different person. I feel so fresh and energetic, lively. All my pains go off. And when patients feel better during menses, we have 49 remedies in homeopathy for that. This is a very characteristic rubric and very important when we deal with gynec cases. Here we know for sure that we are dealing with the patients either they are from Ophidia group or maybe from Zincum group who, uh, who feel better by discharges. If you have any female complaining of severe dysmenorrhea or fainting, menses smell a lot, stains cloths, and can think at that time you can think about magnesia group of remedies. Any peculiar symptom during menses also helps to find out the particular remedy. Behavior of a female around and during her menses gives us many clues to select the simillimum, and it will shorten your remedy selection. For example, if there is anger during menses or beginning of menses, then we have only one remedy, that is aconitum. If there is anxiety with anger during menses, we have 10 remedies as mentioned in the chart. If there is difficult menses, respiration difficult during menses, then we have almost 28 remedies for that. If there is bursting headache during menses, then we have the 10 remedies which I mentioned here in the chart. If there is copious menses or copious urine during menses, then we have specific remedy for that like acid falls and sulfur and more other 11 remedies. So it is very important to observe the female during, before and after menses. It can give you the clue for the simillimum. Then ask about menopause. In menopausal women, we always ask the time of menopause. Was it normal, early, or delayed? Like early menarche, we have females coming up with the early menopause at the age of 35. This is syphilitic. Soric females may attain menopause at perfect time, and psychotic female may attain menopause at the age of 50 to 55 years. And psychotic female may go into fit of anger, water retention, increase in weight, etc. Syphilitic women may go into rage, lot of menstrual irregularities, severe hot flashes, one moment feeling hot, wants air conditioner, the very next moment feels very chilled. They may develop hysterical behavior or go into depression. Now I will talk about obstetric case taking. Pregnancy is the essential part of any female's life. That phase of her life can tell us lot of about female. First, my first question to always in gynec and obstetric cases is, how was the pregnancy? Was it uneventful, normal, or natural? Or did she have any major events during that period? Don't forget to ask about history of any emotional suppression. As I previously mentioned that any type of emotional suppression of a lady during pregnancy can lead the precipitation of ADHD, autism and other behavioral disorders in the child in future. Then interrogate about any pathology. Was there any habitual abortion or miscarriage or ectopic pregnancy? This can tell about the syphilitic trait. Then how did she deliver the child? Was it C-section? Was it a normal delivery? Was it a vacuum? Okay, Karthik, I cannot change the slide. Ah, great. Was it vacuum delivery or was it a forceps delivery? Because it makes your prescription in a different mode. Then ask about breast and lactation. History of breastfeeding. Did she lactate well? Some females don't get milk at all, or some may get a lot even after 1.5 years too. Any history of breast abscess during that time that can give us a clue of suppurating tendency in a female. Then don't forget to inquire about is there any history of taking hormonal pills. Maybe it is for birth control or maybe they consume it to extend the menses. It gives us history of suppression at the hormonal level. We can check if any problem has started after that. Now I am going to discuss a small case with you and will show you her video of 1 minute only. Why I am discussing this case here? Because what I gave to the patient is not a cup of tea in this case, but how to select the proforma of case taking in a particular case is my motto to explain here. A middle-aged lady visited me with her husband. She has been tormented a lot by her family. They consulted me for her aggressive and grotesque behavior. There is adjustment disorder and she was not able to adjust with her family. While in conversation, she told me, the whole world is just a fantasy. I have my God inside me. I went on the moon to meet him. People who tormented me, I gave them the taste of their own medicine. Whatever I do, love or anger, it's my right. I am lawyer, I am judge, I am magistrate, I am everything. You can see her video and then I will explain you something. Karthik, can we play the last video? Video number 3?
है ना क्या बाहर का देखते हैं अंदर ही बैठा है ना ये सब अंदर बैठा है बाहर क्या है सारी दुनिया माया जाल है
सही बात है वो बिल्कुल बराबर
मेरा तो पांडुरंग है मावली मैं मिल गई उससे मिल चुकी उससे मिलने गई ऊपर चंद्रा पे मिल गए ऊपर
अच्छा ओके
मिल के भी आ गए दर्शन हो गए सब हो गए सबके लिए सबने मुझे जो जो दिया ना
उसके बाद में अभी
जो जिसने मुझे जो दिया उनको वही वापस सब वापस कर दिया
समय
सब वापस सब एकदम से पूरा के पूरा मेरा अधिकार है मैं गुस्सा करूँ प्यार करूँ दोनों कर सकती हूँ मैं मेरा अधिकार है दिस इज माई क्या बोलते इंग्लिश में राइट दिस इज माई राइट
यस यू कैन बी अ लॉयर आप बहुत अच्छे
वकील भी हो जज भी हो मिला भी हो सब
यस
दिस इज माई राइट मैं नहीं करूँ तो कौन करूँ
थैंक यू कार्तिक So, my dear friends, you saw this video here. Why I put this video here? Just to mention you one thing that though this is a female patient who is consulting me, but in this case, I am not going to ask her which type of menses you have. No, see her body language, how she was talking. So, it was clearly understood that this is a case of psychiatric disorder. So, I will interrogate this patient or such type of cases with the psychiatric questions, not with the gynec questions. Maybe in future I will ask her to take the totality of the symptom about her menses, but that will be in the future, not now. Okay. So I hope you understood the difference between case taking of psychiatric cases and gynecological cases. Now, what makes homeopathy special in terms of case taking and therapeutic relationship? To summarize this point, I would like to share here that homeopathic prescription is based on the unique, rare, uncommon symptom of the patient as it predicates the man, the person, not the common symptom of the disease. As taught by our father Dr. Hahnemann in aphorism 153 of our homeopathic philosophy. Homeopathy does not treat the disease, it treats the patient. In other words, it individualizes. You know why we say that homeopathy cures the patient? Because we treat the person so that we can treat the disease by root. We do not treat the symptoms, we treat the disease by root by treating the person in the disease. All practical processes in homeopathy are governed by the process of individualization. In clinical practice, this difference is usually the deciding factor in the choice of the remedy. Homeopathy, being a true therapeutic science, qualifies the physician to recognize these differences and find the needed remedy for each individual. Homeopathy alone knows and teaches that the cure is to be effected only by means of the entire force still existing in the patient. That is our vital force, our soul. When a medicine perfectly homeopathic to the present case of disease and administered in a proper dose causes this force to exert its curative activity. This is the action, primary action of our medicines on the vital force of the patient. Homeopathy is the therapy that helps systematically to unblock a chronic disease with the remedies which are proved on healthy human being. I repeat, which are proved on healthy human being, not on the mice or guinea pig. In homeopathy, we have the proved remedies which are proved on healthy human being of all ages and both the sexes. And hence, this point makes homeopathy as an extraordinary pathy. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Do you have any question? You can connect me on the Facebook or you can see me on the YouTube. This is my mail ID and website, and this is my Skype ID. Thank you so much for your patience listening. My today's motto was to individualize, to show the approach of individualization of case taking in homeopathy. So we individualize these cases according to the system involved in the disease. Thank you so much for your patience listening. I hope you have enjoyed this session. And if you have any question, you can connect me on the Facebook or YouTube. This is my mail ID and website. And thank you so much for your patience listening. Have a great day.
Dr. Obed is still having a problem logging in. So let me try and get him on again. Sorry, folks, I'm still helping Dr. Obed get on to the webinar. So, okay. Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks, I'm not able to get Dr. Obed Hashmi online today. So I'm just going to ask Dr. Obed to join us on Thursday, by which time I hope we'll get all his internet issues sorted out. Yes, we can. Actually, he's going to come on in on the 16 when we have only Genoveva speaking. So with this, we're going to end the third day of the webinar series. On behalf of Genoveva and Uta, I'd like to thank you all for coming in and making this a success. Hope to see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock Indian Standard Time. That's 4:30 GMT. So see you then. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.